Very random pick this week, but let's talk about a very much beloved animated film, Zootropolis. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Beaner. Zootropolis has actually been on my watch list for quite some time. I know it was a really popular film back then. It earned a lot of money, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves correctly. It earned over $1 billion, you know, which nowadays is something that very few films do. I mean, it was in that period, I think, from sort of 2014, 15 to 2020, you know, it was quite wild in terms of cinema, probably its peak. Who knows if we'll ever reach that again, although it's not been looking too bad this year. But yes, I didn't get to see the film when it was in cinemas, but it's been on my list because a lot of people think it's a really good film. You know, just beyond it being a good children's film, you know. So I thought, okay, I'm very interested, and yeah. At the weekend, as is quite often the case these days, on a Sunday we'll be thinking like, okay, let's watch a family film, so something that even my 4-year-old daughter can enjoy. So let's see what's on the various streaming services. So Zootropolis came up and I was delighted because, as I said, it's been on my watch list for quite some time. I'm actually quite surprised in a way that it was as successful as it was. While it does have a lot of funny parts in it, I'm not too sure whether its you know, main audience even is supposed to be kids, because there's just so much in it that I feel kids won't even understand or won't even get, you know, just slip right under the radar. My daughter, she was laughing a bit, you know, various bits and parts she found very funny, but overall, I would think that there are quite a few other films out there that she would probably enjoy more. But anyway, it does explain the big success, because I feel that for an animated film that is targeted at kids, although like I say with this one, I'm a bit skeptical in that sense. It's a bit like Inside Out, the first and the second one, where I'm like, yeah, it's a kids film, but is it really though? Your target audience may be a bit older than that. But I can see exactly why it was successful, because in order for it to be so, it needs to be more than just a simple, typical animated kids film. And that's what Zootropolis is, in my opinion. So before we get into the specific reasons why that is, I'll obviously tell you about the plot. We are focused on a society that is only made up of animals, so humans do not exist in this world. We've got a lot of animals, they are all bipedal, so they're all walking on 2 feet. We are focused on a rabbit called Judy Hopps. She is voice acted by Ginnifer Goodwin. She has this dream since childhood to become a police officer, you know, to fight for the for those in need, for those weaker in society who need, you know, protection. She goes to the big city, Zootropolis, to become a police officer there. She passes the academy, and then finally she's working her dream job. She gets to join the police force. The police chief there, voiced by Idris Elba, wonderfully, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, he and pretty much everyone else sort of just basically disregards Judy because, you know, she's a small rabbit, and they're all like, he's a buffalo, and you've got obviously other big animals, whether vegetarian or predator. And obviously you would expect that they are better equipped to being a police officer just for pure, you know, physical strength. But yeah, so she's biting the bullet. She's trying to prove her worth. Unfortunately, she's just donned with the being what do they call it? A ticket, a meter maid. Sorry, that's it. Yeah. So basically, she gets to hand out fines to all the people not parking correctly, you know. But she's determined to be good at her job, and eventually, surely, they will see her worth and give her a job. She bumps into a fox. Foxes and rabbits, hares, are typically obviously natural enemies. He is voiced by Jason Bateman. His name is Nick Wilde in the story, and yeah, he's all sorts of things. Generally very nice, but a bit of a shady character, as she finds out pretty early on. And there is a big plot going on in the background while this is all unfolding at the start. We hear that there are 14 missing people. And this is actually what Judy wanted to jump into. She's like, oh, I can take one of these 14 missing people's cases. And the chief was like, no, off you go, parking duty, you know. Anyway, so through various circumstances, which I won't tell you here, just not to spoil the story, she eventually does get an opportunity to investigate this crime, this missing person. And she manages to enlist the help of Nick, this fox, to help her with it, because he is a bit of a shady character. He knows let's call it the underworld, or at least that side of the city a bit better. So he can be of certain value to him in this investigation. And that is what we're watching. I found this quite funny. I mean, that is the plot. It's basically a police drama. It's a typical sort of detective story, really, in that sense. And I found that quite funny because when we called up on Disney+ here at home, in the first, when they've got the genres describing the film, the very first thing it said was police drama. I'm like, police drama? It is one, but it just sounds really funny when it's in connection with a children's film. But it is an absolutely accurate description. It is a police drama. It is an interesting investigation. You know, it's nice to follow along it, etc. And that is basically what this is. So in that sense, that is why I'm also not too sure about, you know, whether kids enjoy it. But I suppose kids, very often, they don't exactly follow films or watch films because of the through line plot. They don't care too much. I mean, when I think of my daughter, she doesn't care too much about how did we get from point A to point B, you know, as long as there's funny bits in there and cute looking characters and people doing silly things, etc. She's happy, you know, maybe a song or two. Yeah, anyway, but yes, that's what I'll tell you about the plot. So we are following along this rabbit who is a new, fresh police officer, fully determined to show her worth for society, protecting the weak, all these kind of things. And she is joined by this fox, this sort of con artist, I'll call him, who is helping her with her investigation. Yes, that's all I'll say about the plot. Now, what is really fascinating about it, I mean, first of all, I might as well mention it because I've already talked about it a bit. The voice acting is really good in this film, so the film would not work without the three people I have mentioned. So Jennifer Goodwin as the rabbit. Really, really incredible. You really feel for her. You know, you can really feel her determination, you know, her, this urge, this need to prove herself, you know, and being belittled by everyone just because she's a rabbit in this world of really, really big animals. Jason Bateman, he fits the role perfectly as this sort of dubious character, you know. I mean, I've seen him, and Jennifer Goodwin I haven't seen in anything. Jason Bateman I've seen in a lot of things, and he's always good in pretty much everything that he's in. So yeah, I mean, it feels a bit typecast in a way, but I mean, he does it so well, so why wouldn't you? But Idris Elba to me still was kind of the standout. He's not in this film as much as the other two, but every scene he's in, he kind of steals the show a bit. He's a bit over the top as this buffalo, but it's just, I think it's really good. As soon as he came in, I didn't know who the voice actors were. Him, I immediately recognised, but just the way he conducts himself as this police chief is so much fun. I really enjoyed that portrayal the most out of these three very, very good performances. There are other good performances in the film as well. These three to me are the standouts. But yes, I feel that if you want to have a good animated film, you also need the good performances, and these really make you like all of these characters so much, I feel. Even the police chief when he's being a bit mean to Judy, you know, and shunting her off on parking duty and all that. But still, he just does it so well, and he's really in the character. I loved it. Now, what Zootropolis, I believe, is very known for, at least that's the thing I think it's really known for, is the societal commentary, because it's a really genius move to talk about and show and mull over stereotypes that we have in society and prejudices and all these things. Because if you take an animal world like this is, where you've got predators and, you know, and the typical prey, and they're interacting with each other. So just to clarify, this is a world where they all coexist peacefully, you know, it's not like the tigers are hunting the gazelles or something like that. Yeah, and there's a lot of commentary here on probably quite a lot of layers that I might not even have realised, you know, just upon first viewing, where you're trying to take it all in. But it's really good. I feel that I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to spoil it for you. You might want to go on this journey yourself and discover various of these aspects yourself. I've found that a really interesting journey because pretty much in every scene I would think about, okay, well, this is very interesting. They often subverted my expectations. So even although you realise very early on that they're going along this path of having these stereotypes, and you know what we would expect these animals to be like if they were bipedal in a talking, you know, society just like ours, etc. But we expect them to go in certain ways, and sometimes they do, but then again they subvert expectations, and then things happen where you're like, oh yeah, that's really interesting. So I found it's really cool to think about this film and how all these animals interact with each other. and as a parallel, as a mirror to how we do it in our society. So I thought that was a really genius move. And I saw that there's a second one coming out next year, which I'm now obviously very curious to see, and it'll be interesting to see if, like with Inside Out, they can replicate the success and especially the depth of the film, which I really hope they will be able to. I really enjoyed it because of that. So not just the cool voice acting, the detective story is fine, it was great, it was good, it was fun to go along. There's a lot of fun to be had in the film, but like I said, the societal commentary for me, it just took it to another level, which I really thought made it a very, very good film. So it's a high recommendation for me, something, you know, if you've got kids, they can enjoy, but you can also enjoy it on a much higher level. And I feel that it's really great when you're really engaged with a film on that level. It doesn't always need to be the case. It's not like they keep hitting you over the head with it. You know, at times it's very subtle. The more you want to pay attention to it, the more you will notice. Anyway, that will be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say about Zootropolis, anything you want to discuss, other films that are like it, what are your expectations for the second part that's coming next year supposedly. Any and all of that, put it down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Beaner. Take care, bye.